Welcome back to another episode of Mile High Hoops. Today we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I do got to get through a little bit of things here, so we are going to just do a couple more of these actually. We're just going to get through some of the teams I think are interesting and then move on to more regular season stuff. But with that being said, please like or dislike, comment, and then actually, if you could, subscribe. That would help a lot. I do see that only 1.7% of those that are viewing my videos are subscribed. So if you could go ahead and do that for me, that'd be wonderful, and we'll get right into it. So I've got to start with the biggest addition of the offseason. That was Donovan Mitchell. So obviously, Donovan Mitchell coming to this team is a huge addition. And honestly, they didn't give up too many players that I think are super valuable to them. And they did give up a lot of picks, but for what they're getting, Donovan Mitchell is an elite scorer, and he can distribute the ball fairly well too, and he's gotten better at that over the years that he's been in the league. The only issue I do see here is that another 6'3" guard in their backcourt, him and Darius Garland now, they're going to have a rough time guarding most backcourts in the NBA. And according to NBA.com, their defense dashboard, Donovan Mitchell is about 10% worse than than average defenders as far as defensive field goal percentage, and it gets even worse for threes. It's at 19%, and this is for the playoffs. And I looked specifically at the playoffs, expecting that he would have tuned it up a little bit and gotten even better on defense. But it looks like it's even worse. And on two-pointers, I mean, that's about league average. And then anything closer to the hoop, it was pretty much going in over his head. And so that's kind of where I'm at with Donovan. I think he's going to be a great scorer on this team. And now he's got more guys around him that can score and also create more than in Utah, where it was a lot of everyone kind of stand around and hope that Donovan can get them an open shot, or Mike Conley can get them an open shot. But there's a lot more going on here, and he should be a good addition. It's just a matter of if the front court guys can clean up all the mistakes, kind of like how Rudy Gobert had to. Now, speaking of big guys, Jarrett Allen was recently signed, last year, and he looked really good for them. I mean, he damn near shot 70% from the field, pretty much like all dunks, and he rebounds the ball really well. He got 11 a game. He's kind of an underrated passer from that short roll or the post spots, and he does everything you need him to do on defense. I mean, he's a big body. He's got pretty good feet, and he can get it up vertical pretty well. And I think him paired with Evan Mobley is kind of like your perfect front court. Of course, you could have a superstar there, but like as far as these like not quite all-star level guys, you couldn't ask for anything better here. And I don't really know if there's a lot I would want him to completely work on. Maybe just keep working footwork, and maybe if he could become like a perimeter defender a little bit better on switches, then that would be huge for them, because everything that he does solidly, and anything that he would add would kind of be fluff and wouldn't be needed based on the other guys around the team. Now, I think the guy with the most upside here is definitely Evan Mobley, and that's no surprise to anybody. But as far as Evan goes, he shot 50% from the field. His three-point percentage wasn't great, and he didn't shoot too many of them. And I think the biggest weakness outside of that is free throws. He was at 66%. And I think those things kind of need to come together for him to be like an all-star level player. And he's on a great track to get there. Defensively, he was already like probably one of the best forwards in the league. Defensively, he switches well. He can keep guys in front. He's good at turning his hips and running and beating a guy to a spot to get a contest or block a shot. He's got great vertical and reach to be able to get up to either grab rebounds or catch passes or alley-oops, any of that sort. And I think for him to take that next step, he should really follow like kind of in Jaren Jackson Jr.'s footsteps. Just work on the three ball, Maybe work on ball handling a tiny bit. I mean, I don't think he needs to be some sort of point forward or anything, but it would definitely help. And free throws. Other than that, I mean, he's on a great path to be a great player. And now I think the most underrated guy on this team is definitely Darius Garland. Originally, like a couple years ago, I was not even slightly excited for Darius Garland. I thought Colin Sexton was going to be way better than him. But I think it really goes to show that Darius is just so much more of a solid player and a safer bet to be your lead guard. He took a big jump last season, averaging 22 points, getting almost 9 assists, shoots the three at 38%, and I think that could even go up. I remember, I mean, it definitely doesn't tell you a whole lot, but in the skills challenge, it was funny how good Darius was. I mean, he was, like, you could tell from him being out there that, like, he's a hooper. Like, he was just doing everything so solidly and with, like, a certain bit of finesse and swag going on. I think Darius is just very, very well-rounded point guard, and he's going to continue to get better. Again, the only thing that could really use a lot of improvement is defense, and other than that, like, everything offensively is pretty solid. Maybe turn it over a little bit less, but I think he's in a good spot. Now, I don't think there's a lot of other really notable people to talk about here. There's definitely like Karis LeVert and Isaac Okoro, but I think the more important thing to talk about is kind of salary with the team. They've got a couple guys as free agents this next season. So after this year, Kevin Love's $29 million contract will expire. Karis LeVert's $19 million will expire. And Darius Garland will start his max. And so he'll be at 33 for the next 5 years after that. So pretty much after this next season, it's pretty much Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley's rookie deal. And then Chetty's on a 6. Isaac Okoro will have 9, and Ricky Rubio will have 6. And then they've got Lamar Stevens, and that's a team option as well. And so I think that they'll have a good amount of space after this next season. And I'm not sure where Kevin Love sees himself being after this season. I would figure, based on how he didn't really ask for a trade after LeBron left, that he kind of wants to be around. And so I would assume that he would want to sign a team-friendly deal after this. And then if they feel like keeping Karis LeVert, I don't know if he's worth more than that 18 that he's on, or 19. And I think they could probably get him a little bit cheaper. To me, I mean, Karis is a good sixth-man scorer for them, but I kind of would like them to look to trade him at this point during the season and either free up salary space to try to get someone else or try to flip him with someone else for a slightly better player. And as far as people that are free agents go this next season, honestly, if they could get Andrew Wiggins back, that would be a perfect fit for them because they don't have a good defensive wing other than Isaac Okoro, but that guy can't shoot at all. Other options are Harrison Barnes. I think that he would be a good fit there as well, just a good solid shooter that can do most things on the court fairly well. If Gary Trent Jr. declines his player option, I don't think he'll do that. Will Barton is another option. I mean, he's a good 3 and kind of D shooting guard, small forward. I think he would fit. Terrence Ross would maybe be an option. I'm not a big fan anymore. And other than that, it'd be a lot of guys to just kind of fill like secondary role positions. Like if you could get Pat Bev, or actually Kelly Oubre Jr. would be a good spot here. Maybe Dylan Brooks. I'm a known Dylan Brooks hater, but I mean, another good defender on the team would not hurt. Possibly Alec Burks as well. I'm just saying, look out for them to try to get a wing in the offseason. I think if they can clear up some of the space, that would be their best route into becoming a better team and becoming a playoff championship caliber team. I think this next season is going to be a lot of just where are we at? Like, how good can we be? Where are weaknesses, and where can we find guys that can plug those holes? And so I think they do have a lot of questions to ask themselves, but also they did answer a lot of questions this last offseason by pushing all the chips in and pushing most of the chips in to get Donovan Mitchell and really wanting to be good now and in the next several seasons. Well, anyways, I think this team's going to win about 45, 50 wins or games, and they're going to be around like that fourth, fifth, sixth spot. They'll be really competing, I think, with like the Hawks and maybe some other team, and maybe the Knicks. And that's kind of where I see them around that tier. And so I think they're in a good spot, though. I've probably said that a million times. They've got a very high ceiling to what they can be. And I think the thing that might hold them back is going to be their perimeter defense. But other than that, they've got a very solid foundation to build off of. And everyone on the roster that's important to them is very young at this point and signed in for a long-term deal. So they've got a lot of ways to go and a lot of room to grow, as well as a pretty good starting point to grow from. But with all that being said, again, please like or dislike. Leave me a comment down below. And if you very much could, I would very appreciate you hitting that sub button. And I'd like to get to 100 at the end of the year at some point. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.